Sahiti ma'am, you're ready?
Yes, Shraddha ma'am. Thank you so much.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of Health Basics, I would like to invite all of you for this enriching session by Sahiti Mannar. Looking forward for a enriching and knowledgeable 1 hour. That's what we're looking up for. Sahiti is no new person to us. She doesn't need any introduction. With over 4,300 hours of counseling and 4 years of professional experience, and she specializes in anger management, time management, body image issues, and anxiety spectrum issues, basically for individuals in the age group of 18 to 28. She is grounded in a holistic approach and proficient in therapeutic modalities such as CBT and REBT. She can create a secure, judgment free environment for clients to explore and address their concerns. In addition to her counseling practice, she is actively pursuing a PhD in clinical psychology, furthering her expertise in understanding human behavior and mental health. Her commitment to holistic well being extends beyond clinical setting. Her dedication lies in fostering the psychological and emotional welfare of the individuals and communities, utilizing clinical insights and community engagement activities. This is to tell you a little bit about our speaker of the day, Sahiti. And to tell you a little bit about Health Basics, Health Basics is a startup where we are tied up with schools pan India, help them recruit special educators, counselors, nurses, therapists as per the requirement, and we conduct health assessments for children in schools. And we also handhold the special educators and the counselors, unlike schools where there is no proper guidance given to the therapists in the school scenario.
Thank you so much for such a great introduction, Shraddha ma'am. This means a
All
lot.
to you, Sahiti.
Thank you so much. Hi everyone. Good evening. There are only two rules in this whole 1 hour or 1.5 hour of webinar. One, please turn on your video so that it can be as close to humane as possible, and keep the participation high. These are the only two rules. And apart from that, I am sure you all are psychologists and you all are working professionals, and you know how to respect the space, you know how to be non judgmental and everything. But these are the two main rules that I would stress on. Now, to start with, thank you so much for registering to the workshop. Thank you so much for showing up. Now, the topic for the day is nurturing adolescent mental health, a guide for school psychologists, which is not only limited to school psychologists, but will also cover all the topics related to adolescent mental health. Now, to start with, we'll start with a very small activity. I am sending one link here in the Google chat. As soon as you get the link, open that link and type answers to the question following. That is, when you think of adolescence, or when you think, or yes, Sunita, yes, you had a doubt. Okay. Okay, I'll send one link here in the Google chat. I want you all to give answer in one word to the question. When you think of adolescence, what is the first word that come to your mind? Okay. I will also give the question here along with the link. Okay. Please go ahead. Please go ahead and type your responses, and I'll be sharing the responses here with you. Okay. You can see all your responses here. The question again is, when you think of adolescence, what's the first word that comes to your mind? Please fill in the link that is given to you, or okay, fine, you're giving it here in the chat section as well. That is also great. Okay. Confusion, behavior change, confusion, pressure. Okay. Oh, link is inactive. That's all right. Please share it here in the chat box. Stressful, vulnerable, peer pressure, transition, developmental stage. Okay, okay. This is amazing. Looks amazing. Please go ahead. Acceptance. Okay, makes sense. Start of decision taking. Okay, yes. Start of decision taking is a very main thing of adolescence. Overthinking, identity, growing and going to new thing to accept. Okay, okay, wonderful.
We missed one. There was bodily changes.
Oh, bodily changes also. That's amazing. That's amazing. Creative. Okay, okay. Okay, so we have heard a lot about adolescence in one word. To start with, adolescence it marks a very important part of human development, right? In terms of physical, in terms of emotional, in terms of cognitive. Adolescence is a stage where many of the changes happen, and as adolescents navigate through this, I think someone has told transitional phase. So as adolescents, navigate through this transitional phase, it is very important for us to understand that their mental health also becomes paramount to their overall well-being. Their mental health becomes an aspect which affects their overall well-being, overall success, and overall academic aspects as well. Now, the agenda for this meeting for us is to understand the importance of adolescent mental health. We'll discuss about common mental health issues and common mental health challenges. And we'll also discuss a little bit about understanding adolescent brain development. And we'll discuss about risk factors and protective factors. And we'll discuss about the role of a school psychologist or the role of a psychologist in general. And then we'll discuss about self-care, sorry, intervention strategies that we can use or intervention strategies that would help us. And then we'll go ahead with self care for psychologists or school psychologists. And we'll end with the question and answer session. Now, I request everyone to please turn on your videos. In this era of, I would say, digital era where everything is online, the only thing that would help us being close to humane is turning on your videos. For whoever it is possible, please turn on your videos. Let us keep the participation high. Okay. Thank you so much for this. Now, importance of adolescents' mental health. Now, overall, in general, help me understand how many of you have mental health? How many of you have mental health? You can use the emoji reaction here that is there, or you can just raise your hand. How many of you have mental health? Okay, okay, okay. I see a lot of people raising their hands and using this emoji. Okay, okay. That's amazing. That's amazing. Okay, okay. So, yes, we all have mental health. Just like we all have physical health, we all have mental health, right? Now, for adolescents, it is important, and we have to concentrate a little bit more on adolescence because of all the developments that are happening in the stage. As we have seen the audience state that it is about constant changes that are happening, the bodily changes, the overthinking, the start of decision making, the transitioning that is happening, and the behavior challenges that they are facing, all of that, right? Now, it is very important that we concentrate on adolescent mental health. Now, there are researches that are going on that clearly demonstrates that there is a very strong link between the mental health of adolescents and their academic performance. Now, why is that I'm clearly stating only academic performance is because adolescence is a stage where people are in school or they're, somewhere between 7th to 12th class. And that is the stage where every single person is actually thinking about, oh my God, what should I take in my 12th? How do I write my 10th exams? How do I make friends? How do I have a social circle? Right? Now, the major part, or I would say the major chunk of the daily time goes towards studies or they be in school, right? So now that is one of the reason why I am focusing on the academic performance here. Now, adolescents, you know, who might have been facing any mental health issues or any kind of mental health challenges, they may experience difficulties in concentration. They may experience difficulties in retaining information, that is memory, or grasping power. And they find it difficult in engaging in learning activities, be it extracurricular activities or be it any learning activities, all of that. Okay. Apart from that, all of this combined, it affects their educational outcome, it affects their social outcome, right? And furthermore, it is very important that the aspect of mental health, the mental health of an individual, mostly adolescents, since we are speaking about adolescence, it affects or it influences their social functioning, affecting their peer relationships, affecting their social interactions, and overall well being. Right? Are we clear till here? Okay. I request everyone again to please turn on your videos to keep it as interactive as possible. Now, in the process of the webinar, I'll be asking a scaling questions. Remember, in all the scaling questions, 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. Okay? Now, till now, how are we? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are we? 1 is the lowest, 10 is the highest. On a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of the webinar, where are we? Are we clear on whatever is we are discussing about? Okay, perfect, perfect, amazing. Thank you so much for that. Now, coming to the long term implications that we have or that are seen, you know, they extend beyond academic and social domains, right? When a person or when something is left unattended, mostly in terms of adolescence, if things are left unattended, the mental health challenges during this phase can manifest into other perspectives of their adult life as well. Okay, we all know that there is a saying, anxiety is the common cold of mental health, right? Now, if any of the mental health issue be, I'm not just talking about anxiety here, I'll dwell into the chat type, challenges that we face, or I would say common mental health challenges or common mental health issues. I'll dwell into that or different types of that in a short time. But the one thing that it is very clear for all of us is, if a mental health issue or if a mental health, even a small hiccup, it is left unattended, it can affect the whole, I would say, perspective of the child towards life, towards career, towards their future perspectives, all of that. Now, what happens when this happens is, it will completely, I would say, influence the overall quality of life, the overall functioning of an individual. Okay? Now, this is where early intervention comes in. We also know prevention is better than cure. This is a saying that we have been hearing from a very long time. However, yes, we can, I would say, try our level best to having any mental hiccups. But then, if something like that happens, early intervention is very, very important. And therefore, it is very important for us as a psychologist to be available. Okay. Now, additionally, it is also seen, or it is also, I would say, found that in the mental health of adolescents, there is a very large impact of the society as well. Okay. And when I say society, adolescents serve as, the future workforce and the leaders. It is very common that students right now are the future of the country future in coming years, right? That is how things go. Now, adolescents, as told, they serve as a future workforce. They serve as the leaders. They serve as the whole contributors of their whole community. Now, since they form the, I would say, the whole society in future. By prioritizing into their mental health, we are not only investing in their individual mental well-being, but also we are trying to create a healthier, a more resilient society, right? The whole, I would say, right now, the whole goal of every single psychologist or a special educator or anyone is to see that the stigma is not there anymore in terms of mental health, right? I think right now in this given situation, we are all working towards that. Now, by concentrating on adolescents' mental health and not neglecting others as well, but then by concentrating on adolescents' mental health, what we are working towards is nothing but a healthier society, a more resilient society, which is um, capable of, I would say, handling challenges or addressing even challenges and having a collective growth or collective safe space. Okay. Now, there are a couple of researches which indicate that mental health issues are very prevalent among, I would say, adolescents. And this can be ranging from, I would say, affecting their academics to the whole overall well being of their life, as we've discussed earlier. Are we clear till now? Are we clear? Okay. Okay. Now, the prevalence, we'll discuss now about the common mental health challenges and common mental health issues that that adolescents face. One second. Oh, okay. When someone's tell about mental health issues, what is the first word that come to your mind? Just please type it here in the chat box. I'll not be sharing any links. Just type it here in the chat box. When someone talks about mental health issues, what is the first word that come to your mind? Peace, tobacco, stress. Okay, okay. A person is clueless of given situation, concentration issues, anxiety, inability to tackle the situation. Sorry. Okay, inability to tackle the situation, depression. Okay, okay. Healthy thought. Okay. Anxiety, inability to tackle the situation. Sorry. Okay, inability to tackle the situation, depression. Okay, okay. Healthy thought. Okay. Unaware of mental health issues, hopelessness. Excellent, excellent. Now, we just understood that the prevalence of mental health issues in terms of adolescence is a little bit higher when compared to other individuals because of the changes that they're going through in all the aspects possible. That is their cognitive development, their physical development, their behavioral development, all of that. Now, what are the common mental health challenges that we see? Again, the first thing, depression, which we all know. Okay, adolescents, they may experience, we all know that depression is a persisting feeling of sadness, hopelessness and disinterest for more than 6 months, according to DSM-5, right? Now, yes, eating disorders, excellent. Okay, now in terms of depression, in terms of adolescence, depression can significantly impact functioning, and it can lead to academic difficulties, the social withdrawal, and even thoughts of self harm and suicide. Now, that is depression. Now, coming to the next, I would say, common mental health challenge that we have is anxiety. Anxiety, such as we have different types of anxiety, right? Generalized anxiety disorder, social anxiety disorder, panic disorder. Okay, they are prevalent among adolescents. Now, excessive worry, I would say, avoidance behavior, the fear, and the pattern of having intrusive thoughts in a cycle. All of these, they characterize these disorders, and it can often interfere in the daily activities that a person can do. Yes, performance anxiety. Excellent. Yes. Performance anxiety is also a part of anxiety disorder. Thank you for that. Now, it can affect their daily activities and causing very significant distress. Okay. The other common mental health challenge that we are seeing is substance abuse. Can anyone tell me what substance abuse is? Anyone? You can unmute yourself and speak, or you can just type it here in the chat box. Can anyone please do that? Okay, using alcohol. Excellent. Okay. Now, substance abuse is okay, consuming inappropriate things, tobacco, alcohol, drug, medicine abuse, drugs, excessive use. Excellent. Excellent. Now, to sum all of that up, overusage of drugs, using drugs, alcohol, etc. Perfect. Perfect. Now, to sum everything up, substance abuse may, okay, adolescents, they may turn towards substance abuse as alcohol, tobacco, illicit drugs. When I say illicit drugs, they mean cocaine, morphine, etc., 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 as a means of coping mechanism. Okay. Now, as a means of coping with what, you may ask? As a means of coping with the stress that they have, as a means of coping from the academic pressure that they are feeling, as a means of coping from the peer pressure that they are feeling, or maybe as a means of underlying mental health issue. Maybe. Now, substance abuse can have a very strong effect on the physical health of a person. Apart from that, yes, as a means of escape also. Excellent, Muskan. Thank you for sharing that. Now, apart from that, what happens is, apart from affecting their physical health, the obvious effect that we see is the effect on their mental health, effect on their academic performance, and also mental effect on their overall functioning as a human being. Okay. Now, can anyone tell what is the next I would say common mental health challenge that we are speaking about is eating disorder. Can anyone tell me what eating disorder is? You can please unmute yourself and speak, or you can type it here in the chat box.
Stressful eating, binge eating.
Okay. Stressful eating, binge eating. Perfect. Perfect.
Eating disorder is when they tend to be over conscious about their body, so they end up when it is anorexia nervosa, they stop eating. Even though they are lean, that will not be enough for them. Whereas in bulimia nervosa, they tend to overeat sometimes, so they do excessive exercise, or they try to vomit it out. So they tend to do some inappropriate ways of getting out of the food they took.
Yes,
Whereas
yes.
with anorexia, they starve themselves.
Amazing. Writing excessively, anorexia, and Archana has explained it in a very clear way. Disorders such as anorexia nervosa, bulimia nervosa, or binge eating disorders as well. They commonly emerge during adolescence, particularly, I would say, among individuals with peer pressure or a pressure to look in a certain way, body image concerns, or perfectionist perfectionistic tendencies. Now, why I say perfectionistic tendencies is because, believe it or not, nowadays we see in social media, we see all over the internet, all over the, I would say, content consuming platforms, that a body is called a perfect body in terms of physical looks if this meets the criteria, right? Now, An adolescent with that perfectionistic tendencies, the first thing that they do is they would want to look perfect in that way. Agree? Now, that is where they start developing their eating disorders. Okay. Now, these disorders, they can have severe, a very, very, very severe physical and psychological consequences if it is left untreated. Exactly. Bullying at home or in school is also a reason. I completely agree to that. Yeah, there are a lot of things. As a psychologist, we see a lot of cases where people starve themselves, or people overeat, or people, I would say, turn to eating as a coping mechanism because there is bullying at home, or there is bullying at school. Right? Are we clear? Now, now we spoke about all the major top mental health issues, as we say. Let's talk about other mental health issues as well. Self harm and suicidal ideations. Can anyone explain what can anyone give their perspective of what self harm and suicidal ideations are? Your perspective on that.
Self harm is when they tend to harm themselves. The general things they do is cutting their hands,
Okay.
or getting into unwanted medicines, taking overdosage of medicines,
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
ending up doing some harmful things. But the idea is not to die; it's just to
Okay.
endure the pain. So
Okay.
suicidal idea is something where they have an vague knowledge of what they are doing, and their motive is to die. So they end up doing something like hanging themselves, or that is the general thing that they do. So anything that they do to die is suicidal
Exactly.
ideation.
Okay. Harming oneself with or without suicidal ideations is self harm. Now, adolescents struggling, or I would say, yeah, mostly struggling with very overwhelming emotions or untreated mental health issues, or untreated issues that are causing, I would say, difficulties in their overall living, quality of living. They turn towards self harm as a maladaptive coping mechanism. When I say maladaptive, an unhealthy coping mechanism. Okay. Now, suicide attempts or suicidal ideations are significant concerns, mostly among adolescents, highlighting that how early intervention is very important. Okay. Now, the next thing is low self esteem and identity crisis. Okay. So, adolescents often they struggle with issues related to self esteem and self identity, and they, as they very strive to establish a sense of self and the belongingness. Vending out anger by self harm. Yes, also yes. Now, okay, so now adolescence is a very peculiar and a very beautiful, I would say, period of exploration, of self discovery. Okay, now what happens is this can lead to feelings of insecurity. This can lead to feelings of insecurity, confusion, can lead to feeling of inadequacy. Okay, confusion among about their sexuality, about their identity. Okay, now all of this, they contribute to the emotional distress and social difficulties that the person is facing through. Now, um, belongingness can be, it can happen from a very small thing to also a very big thing. For example, um, a person without a phone might not feel belonging or belong to that specific community or to that specific friend circle where everyone has phone, right? It's a very simple thing, a phone, but that might affect the whole sense of belongingness of that individual, right? Okay. Are we clear? Are we okay till here? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are we? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are we? Okay, 9. Good. 9. Okay. Okay. 10. Okay. Understood. Fair enough. Thank you so much for that. Now, while we are speaking about eating disorders, we also spoke about body image concerns. Okay, in today's society, adolescents are okay. One thing is, today's society is very advanced society where there is a lot of content to consume. Okay, and we also see that a lot of adolescents are consuming that content that is available online. Now, adolescents are completely, I would say, frequently bombarded with these unrealistic beauty standards and the societal expectations of how a person should look like, right? Now, with that being, I would say, shown to them every single day on a continuous basis, it is very common that many adolescents, they experience body dissatisfaction. Body dissatisfaction is, I would say, a term where a person is not happy with their body, with the way that they look. Okay. Now, apart from this, again, this leads to having, or I would say, maybe developing eating disorders, unhealthy weight management behaviors, neglecting self, which will also impact their self esteem, right? Now, the next thing, unfortunately, we have to discuss about this is ACE, adverse childhood effects. I'll just type it here. ACE. Sorry, oh, that is R. Sorry. ACE, adverse childhood effects. Now, adolescents, they may be exposed to different form of trauma, which might include, again, trigger warning coming up, the words of abuse. So if you need to leave the webinar, take care of yourself and come back, please do that. Now, adolescents may be exposed to various forms of trauma, starting from physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, and apart from that, neglect from their family, or family conflict, or the community violence as well. Okay, so these adverse experiences, they can have a very, very long-lasting effects on adolescents and their mental health. And the one common way that we see or that we look at it is that all of these symptoms, they combine and they may lead to PTSD, that is post-traumatic stress disorder, with the comorbidity of depression, anxiety, and sometimes eating disorders and other psychological difficulties. So, trauma and ACE, that is adverse childhood effect, child experiences, sorry, adverse childhood experiences, may also be one of the common mental health issues that an adolescent may face. Apart from that, bullying. Bullying is something that we always see in schools happening. Bullying is something that we see at houses also, in between cousins or in between family members, that is happening. Right? Now, victims of bullying, they often experience, I would say, a heightened level of stress, a heightened level of non-belongingness, a low level of self-esteem, low level of confidence, high level of anxiety, and feeling of loneliness, feeling of feeling of isolation, and all of this combined, they impact their academic performance and social relationships. Okay. Now, the one thing that we have to remember is that the social pressures and the peer influences that adolescents have are very strong. Okay. Adolescents seek acceptance and validation, right, from their peers. Now, the peer pressure, it will add to the negative effects of the mental health. Okay. Now, the impact on adolescents' life, with all of this that we have just discussed, With all of this that we have understood, it is very clear that these common mental health challenges, they can have a very great impact on adolescents whole development, their whole functioning, and their overall quality of life. Okay. And moreover, what happens is sometimes, and not sometimes, moreover, what happens is this untreated mental health issues during adolescence, they can have I would say they can increase the risk of developing more severe or chronic conditions in their adulthood. Okay. Now, I think now this is why it is important to always believe that early intervention is very important. Now we'll discuss about intervention strategies in some time. Are we clear till now? Are we clear till the common mental health challenges and common mental health issues that an adolescent might will or might face? Okay, okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Yes, Praveen, you have a question? Oh no. Okay,
No, ma'am. No, no, no. Sorry, sorry. Continue.
okay. Thank you so much. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Now, oh, okay. Coming to adolescent brain development. Um, Okay. Adolescent period is, I would say, characterized by a very significant change in their brain structure and their functioning. Okay, understanding this unique, I would say, this developmental whole trajectory of development of a brain. Why is it essential? Is because it will help us understand the behavior, understand their emotions, understand their decision making process. Okay. During adolescence, what happens is the brain undergoes a process of, okay, these are very, I would say, technical terms coming up. So, brain undergoes a process of synaptic pawning and neural refinement. Okay. Now, these two things, that is synaptic pawning, I'll just give you a definition of what synaptic pawning is. It means the process in which the brain removes neurons and synapses that it does not need. Okay. And why is this important? Is because it is important for the brain to develop, it is important for the refinement to happen. Okay. Now, this what happens when this happens is it results in increased efficiency and the specialization of the whole brain network. Okay. Now, the regions of brain responsible for this very complex cognitive functions, such as impulse control, impulse control, as in the flight, fight, and flight responses, right? And this decision making, the emotional regulation part, they undergo a very substantial change during this specific period, during this adolescence period. Okay. Now, before that, I just want to understand what is the age of adolescence. What do you think is the age of adolescence? Like till what, from what age till what age people call children adolescents? Ma'am, can you repeat it once again? You want me to repeat the one second. Okay, the synaptic burning, is it? Okay. Now, uh, yes, okay, thank you so much for that. Now, synaptic burning, this is, I would say, a process in which the brain removes neurons and synapses that it does not need. Okay. Now, yes, 10 to 19 ages of adolescence. Thank you so much for that. 13 to 19. Mostly it is 10 to 19, is what I believe. Now, coming to synaptic burning, this usually takes place when a person is around 7 to 12 years of age, the synaptic burning. Okay. Now, why is it essential? Is that it is essential to I would say to refine. I mean to have a clear or more strong neural circuits. Now, what happens when the neural circuits are strong is that it would optimize the brain function. Are we clear now? Are we clear of synaptic burning and neural refinement? Okay, thank you so much for that. Now let us come to the the prefrontal cortex development. Okay, now the prefrontal cortex, which I would say governs the executive functions like planning, problem solving, self regulation. Now, even this, that is the prefrontal cortex, this undergoes a very significant and very significant changes during adolescence. Okay, however, the one thing that we have to remember is this area of brain development. Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, this is prefrontal cortex, right? Okay, now this area of brain development, I would say, it does not happen at the same time or at same speed that of the limbic system. Okay, now the limbic system is responsible for processing emotions and rewards, right? Now, this imbalance that we have from the limbic system to the prefrontal cortex, it can contribute to, I would say, to the to heighten or high level of emotional reactivity or the risk taking behaviors that we see in adolescence. Okay, I'll repeat this prefrontal cortex development again because all this is coming becoming very technical. It might be tough to remember. I'll repeat it again. What happens is the prefrontal cortex, it governs executive functions. It takes care of executive functions like planning, problem solving, self regulation, etc. Now, this is prefrontal cortex. Now we talk about limbic system. Okay, limbic system is responsible for processing emotions, uh, processing rewards, and all of that. Now, the development of this prefrontal cortex and limbic system, it doesn't happen at the same speed or the same time. Now, why is this important to remember? This is because of this imbalance that we see. This imbalance is what is contributing to the heightened level, or I would say yeah, to the heightened level of emotional reactivity that is there in adolescence. Okay, and also to the risk taking behaviors that we see in adolescence. Okay, are you still here with me? Are we here? On scale of 1 to 10, where are we? On scale of 1 to 10. Uh, Sunanda, do you have a question? Okay, no, okay. Okay, are we here? Fair enough. Thank you so much for that. Yes, Sunanda, do you have a question? You raised your hand.
No, no, madam. So,
Okay, thank you, Sunanda. Thank you so much for this. Okay, now we'll discuss about the impact on decision making and risk taking. Okay, just now we have understood that adolescent developing brains are characterized by the heightened sensitivity to rewards and pure influences. And to this, what happens is coupled with the immature impulsive control that they have, and the decision making skills that they have at the given point of time. As a result, what happens is adolescents may engage in very risky behavior. Now, what is this risky behavior? This risky behavior can be reckless driving. This risky behavior in some adolescents may also be skipping classes, even though it is very mandatory to be in classes, and bunking school, like jumping out of school campus deliberately. It can also be substance use. It can also be involving in activities that they are not supposed to be involved according to their age. Rebel attitude, yes. Giving threats to friends, yes. Um, Also, yes, starting to, I would say, starting the consumption of substances, to be very honest. Not even about substance abuse, let's not even go there. Starting this, I would say, consumption of substances, right? All of this, they are the, I would say, antisocial behavior, yes. Any activity that they do without fully considering the negative consequences that it might have on themselves and on the society. Okay, now understanding this neurological basis of the adolescent risk taking behavior can help us in actually having, I would say, the understanding of that can help us in actually, I would say, taking them on a right path and promoting them to take healthier decision making. Yes, curiosity will also kick in. Exactly, yes. Now, coming to the emotional regulation challenges. Okay, the development of emotional regulation skills, it is very, very closely, um, I would say, intertwined with the adolescent developmental brain that we are discussing about now. Adolescents will or may struggle to regulate their emotions effectively, which leads to impulsivity, which also leads to having great mood swings, which also leads to difficulty coping with the stressors that we see. I'm not sure if you're aware of it or not. Trigger warning, discussion of suicide is coming up. If you feel you are triggered, I request you, if you feel you need to ground yourself, you're free to leave the webinar, ground yourself, and come back and join the discussion again. Now, I'm sure if you're, it is very prevalent in the news that a 14-year-old girl has died by suicide with the stress that the kid has on having her first period. Now, why am I discussing that right now? Is because adolescents struggle to regulate their emotions. Adolescents struggle to cope with the stressors, right? Now, what can we do? Is we have to support adolescents. Yes, yes. Also, taking rejection from crushes or any even a very minute, I would say, change in the behavior of a friend, that can also be a stressor for them, right? Now, coming to the role of environment and experiences, it is very important for us to understand that yes, biological factors play a very, very, very significant role in the development of adolescent brain. Yes, is it okay to accept his or her crush? Yeah, all of this, all of the um Shaifi, can you repeat that question?
Actually, the question is if any student come to us and they ask you that I'm in infatuate with someone, I'm having crush on someone, and I'm in relationship with someone. So, as psychologists, what should we suggest to them? Because it's we know that it's only an emotional, how can I explain it? So, what should we do as psychologists in that case?
Okay, okay, that's an interesting question. Shafi, would you mind if I take this question at the end of the, uh, I would say, the webinar, so
Yeah,
that
sure, sure, sure.
you open it for the audience also to answer?
Yes, sure.
Thank you so much for that. Okay,
Yes.
I will remember this question. Okay, now coming to role of environmental factors, while biological factors, they play a very significant role in adolescent brain development. Emotional influences, all of that are there. It is also very important that for us to understand that having a very positive and very safe and nurturing environment, with a good supportive relations and a support system, they have a very, I would say, meaningful and positive effect on the brain development, and which can in turn increase the resilience in an adolescent. Okay. Now, implementation of interventions. Now, understanding these very very small nuances in the adolescent brain development, it why does it help us? Is because we can actually strategize and develop a very individualized, and I would say a tailored intervention which is completely dedicated to that specific unique adolescent. And also by intervention focusing on strengthening executive functions, and also which will focus towards promoting emotional regulations and provide, I would say, information and also opportunities for positive social interactions. It can help in the brain development. Okay, I know this slide is a completely technical slide, but I want to understand, are we still here? You all are still here with me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, you all are here with me. Now, that's good. Thank you. Okay. Now, let us discuss about risk factors and protective factors. What are risk factors? This is a complete interactive slide. I want you people to unmute yourself and speak. What are risk factors? Yeah. What are risk factors? Okay, I'll give an example. Risk factors are more like the conditions they experience, that an adolescent experiences, um, which has or which increases the likelihood of developing a mental health issue or a mental health hiccup. Environment, friend circle. Okay, okay, okay. What are risk factors? House environment. Okay, peer pressure. Okay, lack of parental supervision, family history, peer pressure, bullying, childhood traumas, rejections, belief systems. Amazing. Amazing. Child abuse, yes. Now, risk factors are dysfunctional family, um, adverse family dynamics or dysfunctional family, such as parental conflict, sorry, yeah, parental conflict, abuse, neglect, or substance abuse in the family. What happens is all these can actually contribute to okay, one thing that we have to remember is all these risk factors, what they do is they contribute or they play a very active role in increasing the stress in adolescence, increasing the emotional instability in the adolescence, and leading to, I would say, or having effects on their mental health, their overall well-being, leading to maladaptive behaviors, etc. and etc. Okay. Now, coming to risk factors, yes, I see a lot of responses: self esteem, peer pressure, relationship issues, parenting style, too much attention from parents, child abuse, self doubts, all of this. All of these are risk factors. Risk factors can be dysfunctional family, as we were discussing, that is adverse, parental conflict, divorce in a family, abuse, neglect, substance abuse in any of the member in the family. These are these are a couple of things in terms of family dysfunction. Coming to pure influence. Pure influence is negative peer influence and peer pressure, social rejection, uh, non-belongingness. Okay, all of these are risk factors. Now, coming to academic stress. Academic stress, as in high academic pressure, the performance pressure. Someone told performance anxiety in the very starting. That and excessive workload, all of these are risk factors. Now, exams, yes, exams, exam anxiety, exactly, all of this. Now, coming to community violence. Now, to some extent, even in India, even in today, we do face community violence. But apart from that, community violence can also include exposure to violence, exposure to crime, exposure to instability in the community. Okay? And the next thing is traumatic experiences. Now, yes, caste crimes, yes. Now, coming to traumatic experiences. Traumatic experiences, while which also includes it can include accidents which may have caused a physical impairment. It can also include natural disasters. It can also include any kind of abuse. All of these, they are risk factors. Okay? Now, coming to protective factors. Loss of someone. Yes, exactly. Loss of someone is also traumatic experiences that is also a risk factor. Now, coming to protective factors. Now, protective factors, I would like to call it the wall of resistance. Now, what does protective factor do is that they, okay, it is very, okay, I'll just give a example. When protective factors, just a second, I'm really sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm really sorry for this, guys. Okay, now, what does protective factors do is when the protective factors are way more than the risk factors, the chance of an individual, I would say, being of, I would say, yeah, the chance of an individual with mental health issue or without mental health issue having a lack of life quality lessens. Okay, they have high resilience with more protective factors. They have high resilience. They have a good support system. Okay, now coming to protective factors, we are already seeing a couple of protective factors here, which is emotional control, supportive family, friends, good self esteem, good support system, social withdrawal. Okay, okay, social withdrawal. Can anyone, okay, Sunita, can you please explain me why or how a social withdrawal can be a protective factor? I'm confused on how to put it in words. Can you please explain me with this? If you're not comfortable in turning on your audio, you can also explain it here in the chat section. And I request everyone in this meeting to please turn on your videos so that it can be close to humane. Now, protective factors include a very strong support system. Now, when I say strong support system, it can be a positive relation with family, teachers, friends, relatives, and everything. Being withdrawn is social issues. Yes, okay, understood, understood. Now, effective coping skills. When I say effective coping skills, such as problem solving abilities, emotional regulation strategies, um, healthy coping mechanisms, all of this sense of belongingness, feeling connected to the school, feeling connected to the friend circle, feeling connected to peers, feeling connected to their cultural identity and community. All of this. And the next protective factor is access to mental health resources. Now, access to services like counseling, services like yes, counseling, it is shown that adolescents who have access to counseling, they have they it is shown that their recovery is faster and they show resilience. Okay, now are we clear with protective factors and risk factors? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are we? Oh, we are at 9. That's amazing. That's amazing. We're at 7. Good. We are at 8. That is also good. Okay, so we are going good. We're going good. Okay. Now, it is important for us to recognize, uh, recognize these protective and risk factors and try to build more protective factors. Okay. Now, role of a school psychologist. I'll specifically be speaking about school psychologists, which can also be, I would say, used in general as well. Okay. School psychologist, we play a very vital role in promoting adolescent health within the educational setting. You know, our expertise as a psychologist and in psychology and in child development, what happens is we are in a position to support the children in terms of their academics, in terms of their social and their emotional well-being. Okay, and by screening, when I say screening, there are a couple of screening tools that we, even a counseling psychologist, can use. Okay, by using these screening tools, what we can do is we can gather information and we can see if there are any risk factors, and this is where the early intervention comes in. Even if you find one or two risk factors, we can start with early intervention, and we can, I would say, navigate the whole situation and take that child in a, I would say, prompting that child to go for a healthy coping style. Okay. Now, individual and group counseling, we provide, I mean, as psychologists, we provide individual and group counseling which address students mental health needs. It may focus on developing coping skills, enhancement of self-esteem. It can also focus on managing stress, addressing interpersonal conflicts, and addressing bullying, addressing prevention of abuse, all of that. Okay. Now, crisis intervention. In terms of emergencies or in terms of any of the crisis, in for a student, school psychologist, I would say they play a very significant role, because school psychologists will provide immediate support and intervention for a student in distress. Now, it is very important for not just a school psychologist, for a psychologist to collaborate with the staff, to collaborate with the families, to collaborate with their friends. Why? To provide a very effective help or the support that adolescent need. Now, this is where the consultation and collaboration comes in. What happens is, when we collaborate with these multidisciplinary teams, what we do is we develop a intervention plan that supports students in every way possible. That is their academics and their socio emotional development. Now, what we can do as a psychologist is we can start prevention programs. We can start community outreach. We can start a proper, a good program where we go and we create awareness. We create a workplace which, when I say workplace, I mean school. A workplace which fosters resilience, which has that inclusivity, which has that sense of belongingness for all the students. Okay, are we clear? Are we clear on the role that we play as a psychologist? Are we clear? Okay. Now, what are the intervention strategies that we can use? Is counseling. Individual counseling is where we provide students with a safe and confidential space where they can explore their thoughts, their feelings, their concerns, and we use therapeutic techniques like CBT, SFBT, or humanistic approach, just alt approach, or trauma focused, or anything and everything that suits the client and us, and this helps in student to develop coping skills, enhance self-esteem, address their underlying issues, and so on and so forth. Now, group counseling and support groups, what happens is, how many of you know what a support group is? Can anyone explain what a support group is? Can anyone explain what a support group is? Can you please unmute yourself and explain what a support group is? Or what do you understand by support group? Anyone? Hi everyone. Are we still here? Are we still here with me? Okay. I'll go ahead and explain what a support group. Yes. Um, yes.
Ma'am,
We
as
have
like
Mahi.
no, that
Yeah.
yeah, a support group is a group in which a professional sits with a group of people in which we talk about our issues and we get to like now it's like an environment and a setup where we can talk about our issues without being judged or the professional sitting there helps us.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect, Mahi. Thank you so much for that. Divya, yes, please go ahead.
Usually in schools,
Mm-hmm.
when students with low academic skills, they'll be having some students with good, learning skills. They'll be the supportive group other than the teachers and others. Likewise, in counseling also, when they have a low self-esteem or they have some psychological issues, we have supportive groups within their friend setup. I think so.
Okay, okay, makes sense. That also is one way to look at it. And okay, I see a response here where people come as a group for same issue, the immediate peers of family or even people who have gone through the same issue. Okay, now in general, what a support group is okay. We take one specific theme of a group. Okay, groups where the person gets connected with others to understand what they're going through and help them overcome it. Okay, okay. Now, in general, what happens is support group is where we take one theme like stress management or anxiety or grief or depression or anything. People with or people who have faced or who are still facing that specific issue, they all come together under the, I would say, supervision of a professional. They share their experiences and they go ahead with a small self-help activities. They discuss all of that. Okay, yes, example A groups, yes, exactly. Now, why this group intervention is that it fosters a sense of belongingness. It reduces the feeling of isolation, and it provides that an opportunity ki, okay, a shared learning and a shared growth. People who are going through, at least adolescents who are going through mental health issues, they think that they're the only person who is feeling that. When the support groups comes into picture, they have that sense of belongingness. Okay, now coming to psychoeducational workshops is where we educate any stakeholder that is around the children. When I say stakeholder, it can be parents, school staff, friends, the school management, all of them. Okay, about mental health hygiene, what is mental health, the coping strategies. The workshops may cover topics like conflict resolution or emotional regulation, understanding mental health issues, what is mental health hygiene, and all of that. Yes, Deepanjali, yes, you have a question.
Well, no, sorry, it was by mistake.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. Now, all of that. Okay, now crisis intervention and suicide prevention. What we can do is we can have a risk assessment, we can have a safety plan with or by sitting with the student and their guardian. Okay, and also school the whole school wide initiative on suicide prevention, training of staff, and all the adults on being a gatekeeper. All of this will also, I would say, will be an intervention strategy that we can use. Apart from that, collaborative problem solving approach, I always say this, that when it comes to children, it is not just the role of a school psychologist and the children, it is also a role of a student, parent, and teacher. Now, by fostering this open communication, what happens is we identify the strengths of the children, we identify the resources that we can use, and we develop a very actionable plan by everyone being involved, so that it promotes a very strong support system for that specific student. Okay. Are we clear till now? Are we clear till here? Okay. Now, we speak about a lot. We till now we spoke about the brain development. Till now we spoke about how we can help a student, how we can actually form a good, I would say, collaborative plan and all of that. But let us speak about us now. Self care for psychologists. Now, can anyone tell? Okay, let's keep this a very interactive session, at least this slide. Everyone, please unmute yourself or please turn on your videos and let's discuss about the self care strategies that we have for ourselves. Everyone, can we all please discuss about the self care strategies that we have for ourselves? Okay.
Boundaries.
Journaling. Yes, Mahi, you said something?
Boundaries are
Oh,
important.
perfect, perfect. Setting boundaries. And next, anyone. What do you think are the other? Okay, journaling, talking about challenges with a dear one. Okay, next, next. Anything else? What is your self care strategy? My self care strategy is just, I would say, wrapping up myself like a burrito and reading a book. Seeking support, having own strong system in a place, perfect, perfect. To have therapy, perfect. Pure supervision, practicing detachment. Okay, okay. And what else do you think is a sharing feelings? Okay, what else do you think is a self care strategy for yourself?
Taking regular breaks.
Perfect. Taking regular breaks. Okay. Okay. Now, self care strategies can be a day for yourself. Ouch. Sorry. A day for yourself to just, not work and all of that. But at the same time, self care strategy can also be setting boundaries. It can also be practicing mindfulness. It can also be engaging in the hobbies that we have on a daily basis. It can also be seeking support, as someone told, taking therapy, to have therapy session. Yes. It can also be taking breaks. Yes. Breaking from mundane work. Perfect. Yes. It can also be regular exercises, that is having a physical activity routine. It can also be journaling, practicing gratitude, having me time. Yes, explain setting boundaries. Yes, I'll explain that, Shaifi. It can also be seeking support in terms of supervision, pure supervision. It can also be professional development. It can also be just not doing anything and sitting idly. Self care means anything that helps you unwind, anything that helps you feel calm. Okay? Meditation. Yes, meditation can also be a self care. Accepting our limitations gracefully. All of this come under self care. Don't be overthinking about an issue, doing what we always wanted to do, like traveling. Yes, anything that gives you the sense of peace, anything that gives you the sense of happiness, that can be self care. Okay? With that, I would like to end this webinar. How are we doing? How are we all feeling on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. Okay, we are 10, we are 9, we are 10, we are 9, we are 10, we are 10. Okay. Now, I'll start with explaining self setting boundaries. From now, it will be question and answer session. If you do not have any question, you're free to exit the meeting. As always, I will be the last person to exit the meeting, along with my colleague Shraddha, if that's all right. If you have any kind of questions, you can please stay back and ask them, or you can contribute in the answering process. Now, coming to setting boundaries can sound like saying no to a client when you are completely distressed or when you already have a lot of clients. Saying no to a personal commitment when you have a lot going on in work life and vice versa. Setting boundaries can also sound like saying that I will be available only from this time to this time to a client. Okay. Yes, I'll answer that question. This is setting boundaries. Are we clear on setting boundaries? Okay. If a child is experiencing recurring suicidal thoughts, a school psychologist can provide support and intervention, although they may encounter professional barriers when addressing such sensitive matters. What is your view? Okay. Um, okay, I'll share my perspective here. When a child is experiencing suicidal ideations or suicidal thoughts, yes, as a school psychologist, we can always provide help for them. We can always be there for them. We can start with the intervention process. However, it is very important to involve the appropriate stakeholders. When I say stakeholders, we are very clear that there is no like we can break confidentiality if the child's life is at harm. This is one of the condition to break confidentiality, right? So we can break that. And also what we can do is, while providing the support that we need and while involving the important stakeholders, we can also collaborate with other professionals like a clinical psychologist or a psychiatrist if there is any diagnosis that is to be made, or if there is any proper test that is to be taken, or to understand if the child needs medical support or not. So, yes, we can be there for the child and we can slowly provide that emotional support that is needed, and also we can help forming a safety plan. But involving the important stakeholders is always important. This is my perspective. Is there anyone who would want to add their perspective? It's an open session, people can speak. So, yeah, please go ahead. Anyone would want to take have a take on that? Okay. There was other question as well. I said I'll get back to it later. I'm just looking at that question.
Can I explain? I think you are asking about my question only. You are waiting for it. Thank you for
Yes.
it was very wonderful session, and we learned many things from it. Actually, I am a school
Thank you.
psychologist, and now these days, like I am facing some problem, and I really need to get solution. The problem is there is
Okay.
one student who is having argument at home, and
Okay.
he is a class 9 boy, right? And he is having like affair with someone, and he is not talking to his parents, and he even talked to every teacher about their parents, that ki my parents are not good to me. And when I talk to their parents, and when I confront them, it was not like that. Means उसके जो parents हैं वो ऐसे बिल्कुल भी नहीं है जो कि अपने बेटे को कुछ भी कहें, लेकिन क्योंकि उसके माइंड में एक इमेज है कि मेरे जो पेरेंट्स हैं वो मेरे साथ कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं करते हैं, जबकि ऐसा बिल्कुल भी नहीं है। मैं पूरा अंदर तक गई हूँ इस
Okay.
चीज़ के। बट द प्रॉब्लम इज़, अब वो
Okay.
बच्चा मेरे पास आता है और वो मुझे कहता है कि मुझे अगर मैं मतलब अगर मैं उस लड़की से बात नहीं करता हूँ, तो मेरे को सुसाइडल टेंडेंसीज़ होती हैं, मेरा मन करता है कि मैं खत्म हो जाऊँ। So in that case, what should I do? What you suggest, that what should I do in that case?
Okay. Shraddha, would you want to have a take here first?
How confident is the child with the parent?
Uh, I do not get your question.
I mean, I'm trying to ask you, how is the child with the parent? Is like child ready to confide in the parent? How is the relationship at home?
The relationship is not good actually. It is very bad. He is not talking to his mother. I mean, matlab, he has respect for his father, but he do not talk. He does not talk to his mother at all. Just
Have you met the
इनके घर
mother?
में बस
Is the
यही होता
mother
है कि
very
like
strict?
they yes I yes no the mother is not strict. She is very polite, and even she is having some insecurities that if I will be strict, my son will leave me. So she is having that tendency.
Okay, but there seems to be some discord. Okay, she may be very polite outside, but we don't know what happens on the home front, right?
No, actually, as I told, I asked from everyone around his brother. I asked from his brother and many other people, and I found that